she was Obama's Solicitor General. She said that she'd administer justice without respect to persons. This is interesting legal language. This is what I look for. I'm getting back to the way they talk to each other and the signs to look out for. And I quote, she will administer justice without respect to persons and do equal right to the poor and the rich. Now, in legal terminology, if you're talking about persons, without respect to persons, so no respect for people, or she's speaking of the legal language. Perhaps I'm digging too far here, but and do equal rights to the poor and the rich. Yeah, those equal rights will be, we're going to take your property off you. You're not going to allow private property anymore, and you'll be equally, you know, the rich that we want to rape are going to be equally poor. That's the way I read it. What do you make of this woman? Have you had a chance to just?
Oh,
to
she's a
check it out?
Marxist. She's a
Right.
Marxist, and she's ill qualified for the job. She got it because of what she did for Obama. That's her payoff. And
Yeah.
she's a disgusting creature. For those who are interested in this sort of thing, she's a lesbian. And so you're going to get the kind of government that you deserve in America. I mean, you vote for this vermin, and in this case, the man who calls himself the President of the United States, when there's no question he's not a citizen. And quite frankly, this proved that George Bush and his family are not American citizens. And so you have this game going on, and them getting away with it. And, you know, the American people just doesn't know. And then when they're told, they say, well, what am I going to do about it? Or do I really care? And so on and so forth. And so you've got to break the system. And how you do it legally is by throwing them all out of Congress and the Senate in the next election. If you don't do that, you better be ready to fight in the streets. It doesn't get any more difficult than that. Because everybody in Congress, with minor exception, is paid off.
Yeah.
Paid off. It's nothing new. You can go back 6,000 years in history, same thing existed.
And it's difficult to imagine any populace waking up enough in time. We're totally drugged up to the eyeballs. The reason they're spending billions on chemtrailing us and reducing our immune system, chemically lobotomizing us with their crap, it's no wonder when I send a blog to somebody in Australia that I like and I don't want to see ruined about the fluoridation of the Australian water, the vast amounts of crap that they're chemically lobotomizing people with. It's no wonder they don't care. I'd say 60% of the world's population is gone.
And they're now using lithium on them.
Oh yeah, lithium's good for you.
Fossilize them.
Have you had your pint of lithium today? It's good for you.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes you're better off living in the third world.
Oh, well, we do live in the third world now. We're a third world country. America's a third world country. Apparently England is in the league, you know. So they can do what they want with us now, even more.
And where are you located?
Sorry, carry on.
Where are you located?
I'm on the south coast of England. Bournemouth.
So, where, near Salcombe or?
Not. It's between
Cornwall.
It's near Cornwall. Yeah, it's between Devon and I'm in Dorset, between Devon and Sussex. So about 25 miles. About 25 miles from
go there. I used to go there in the summertime.
So I understand. Yeah, yeah. You've been to Cornwall, yeah.
And you know, Salcombe, and I can tell you some fun stories. It's a nice place in the summer.
Yeah.
I've never been there in the winter, so I don't know, and I'm not willing at this stage to find out.
Well, you're welcome as my guest anytime, Bob. You are listening
Well,
to
thank
the
you,
Free
but it might be pretty dangerous.
We'll batten down the hatches and get the kettle on. You are listening to the Free Truth Show on TNS Radio. I'm your host, Patrick Lynch. I'm talking to Bob Chapman of the International Forecaster. And if you want to post any quick questions in, we've got about 15 minutes left with Bob. If you want to post some questions in the chat box there, please go to www.tnsradio.ning.com. And just while the radio's on, please go there, tnsradio.ning.com. And we do have one question from the chat box, if that's all right. Do you feel okay about answering some questions from the chat box there, Bob?
Of course, you've heard me on Alex Jones, so you know I do thousands of them.
Sure. What is Bob's opinion on the fact that the Mexican government have made no statement about the financial damage that the oil gusher is going to cost them?
Well, Mr. Calderon and his PAN party is every bit as corrupt, but far more under the influence of the Illuminati than the previous people under PRI that ran the government. PRI is P-R-I in English. And I think that when the next election comes in Mexico, if they have one, that PAN will lose, and a lot of these things will stop going on. I think that the PRI has an extremely good chance of regaining total control of Mexico. And it's because, more than anything else, that Calderon has been nothing but a sop for the American government. They rigged the last election, and it was very obvious. And AMLO should have won the election. And they're not going to try that again, because the Mexican people aren't going to let it happen. And you have Mexico portrayed as mañana land, which means, what we can't do today, we'll do it tomorrow. It's really not like that. And I've lived there in the past, and I know the people very, very well. And I'm fortunate I speak other languages as well. And so this whole war on drugs is only all about destroying the small drug dealers and leaving the big ones in place so that the government can effectively work with them. They're bringing in $30 billion a year. That's more than tourism. It's now more than the money being repatriated from the United States. The only thing larger than the income from the drug cartel is the sale of oil, which is about $40 billion a year. And so that's all going to come to an end. And it's the CIA and the American government trying to run Mexico, and they're going to be unsuccessful. And I think there's 2 years left, maybe a year and a half, and there's another election. I guess it's 2 years. And things are going to change dramatically there. Incidentally, I'm carrying a link in Sandy's issue. You are getting the International Forecaster, aren't you?
Yeah, I get your sample in the email there. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you get one twice a week?
I don't, no.
Well, you will now, starting in the next issue, or maybe the last issue yesterday. I'll have my wife take care of it. But the point here is I have a piece on that written by somebody else in a link under Mexico, and you got to read it.
Right. I will do.
Because it really outlines it very well. And I carry a lot of links because there are a lot of people who write better than I do. And if they get something interesting to say, well, I put it in there. I don't have an ego problem.
I read out.
At 75 years old, you don't have any kind